You guys ready to crank up the intensity and dive into some of the most brutal, action-packed adventures the Game Boy Advance has to offer? Get ready for Top 10 M-rated GBA games, where we're about to explore the gritty, dark, and sometimes downright insane side of handheld gaming. These aren't your typical kid-friendly fare. Think more along the lines of intense battles, wild plots, and characters that wouldn't blink twice before taking on a horde of enemies. If you're looking for a bit of edge with your portable gaming, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Mortal Kombat Advance. Let's talk about a game that's as brutal as it is. Well, a bit of a mess. It's got all the blood and punches you could want, but it's not exactly winning any Best Handheld Experience award. We're talking about a portable fighting game that takes you back to the glory days of the Mortal Kombat franchise. Characters you know and love, fighting with punches, kicks, and the ever-dreaded fatalities, all in the palm of your hand. Gameplay-wise, it's like the classic Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, only squashed into the GBA's limited controls. Instead of the fluid, visceral experience of the arcade, you get a slightly awkward button setup. Combos? They're there, but good luck pulling them off without missing a beat. Still, once you land a fatality, you get that same glorious moment of victory, even if the AI could use a bit more of a challenge. Let's just say, while the punches may be thrown, the reviews sure didn't punch back in its favor. Critics were quick to point out the low-quality graphics and clunky controls. But hey, if you're dying for a quick dose of MK on the go, this is as close as you'll get on a GBA. Ecks vs. Sever. Imagine a game where you pick between a male or female protagonist, Ecks or Sever, and plunge into a world of early 2000s FPS chaos. Ecks vs. Sever isn't just about shooting and dodging, it's about seeing how well the Game Boy Advance can handle a 3D-ish experience with all the heart-pounding action of a Hollywood script you've never even seen. Based on an early version of the movie script, this game let you dive into the characters' missions with enough plot twists to keep you guessing. The game gives you tank-like movement, a chunky control scheme, and the kind of pixelated combat that makes you feel like you're back in the late 90s, just in a tiny handheld. You're battling your way through levels that seem more complex than they probably are, with a password system straight out of the past to keep you coming back for more. Plus, you can duke it out with the other character in boss battles, which sounds pretty dramatic, until you remember it's all on a GBA screen. While the game didn't win any beauty contests, it's got its flaws, trust me. Its unique 3D ray casting engine and fast-paced multiplayer were cool for its time. But hey, who doesn't love a cheesy, overly ambitious handheld FPS, right? Even if the movie barely lived up to expectation.
See? My last smoke. Stab for the baby.
That's you, Max. A regular Boy Scout.
See, Alex.
Still on for poker Thursday night, right?
Max Payne Advance. Let's dive into the game that practically invented slow-motion shootouts on the Game Boy Advance, Max Payne. You're living out Max's gritty neo-noir revenge story on a tiny screen. Max, a former NYPD detective turned DEA agent, is on a quest to get revenge on the scum who killed his family. It's basically a one-man army versus the world, with Max taking down mafia thugs, corrupt officials, and some shady pharmaceutical execs while trying to solve the Valka drug conspiracy. The gameplay is classic third-person action, but with a twist that'll make you feel like you're in a Matrix-style firefight. Bullet time. That's right, slow-mo combat that lets you dodge bullets, leap through the air, and feel like an action hero, all while frantically pumping the trigger to take out enemies. Plus, Max's inner monologue and the graphic novel-style cutscenes make this game feel like you're playing through a hard-boiled detective novel, one painful step at a time. And of course, Max can dual-wield weapons to make things even more chaotic if your ammo count can keep up. It's a wild ride, packed with painkillers, shootouts, and conspiracy unraveling, all from the perspective of a dude whose life just keeps getting worse. But hey, that's noir for you. Nothing says fun like a depressing revenge tale on the GBA, right? Dual blades. Ready to step into the arena with ninjas, knights, and an innocent-looking old lady who secretly wields Kazakh sorcery? That's Dual Blades for you, an M-rated fighting game that truly delivers a unique experience. This isn't just about button mashing your way through enemies. It's about creating your own fighting style, thanks to the revolutionary power combining system that lets you mix moves to find your ultimate combo. Whether you're slashing away with a ninja, throwing punches as a knight, or using dark magic as a sorceress, because why not? Every match brings something new. The gameplay throws you into both single-player and player versus player mode, letting you test your custom combos against a variety of opponents, including a fierce Ottoman warrior and a high-kicking American adventurer. It's a brawler's dream, with a quirky yet fun cast of characters that make every fight feel like a bizarre showdown straight out of a fever dream. The game's development story is just as wild as its characters. Born from a student project in Turkey, Dual Blades made its way onto the GBA thanks to some behind-the-scenes deal-making. 6 months later, it hit the shelves as one of the 9 M-rated GBA games, proving that fighting games can be both innovative and a bit eccentric. And if that wasn't enough, it got a sequel years later in 2013, showing that Dual Blades had staying power. Wolfenstein 3D. Time to blast your way through history in the game that started it all, Wolfenstein 3D. Welcome to the world of BJ Blazkowicz, your go-to American spy with a knack for wreaking havoc in Nazi-occupied Germany. The mission: escape Castle Wolfenstein, take down mutant armies, and even have a final showdown with Hitler himself, because why not? This is one of the earliest first-person shooters to hit the scene, and it's got everything you need: guns, explosions, Nazis, and more guns. As you play, you'll be running through a series of levels, each one packed with Nazis, dogs, and other weird enemies, all while navigating flat, maze-like environments. The gameplay was revolutionary at the time. Players could fight their way through rooms, collecting weapons, ammo, and health, while looking for hidden secrets. The levels, though deceptively simple, are full of surprises, from keycards for locked doors to hidden treasures that make you feel like a real adventurer. You'll be dodging bullets, firing submachine guns, and chopping up enemies with a knife. Yep, it's old school like that. And let's not forget, the game's 2.5D graphics gave you a full 3D-like experience, even though the enemies were still those iconic 2D sprites. Payback. Let's take a ride through the streets of chaos with Payback, a game that makes you feel like the villain in an action movie, where the explosions are endless and the mayhem never stops. This game gives you a taste of Grand Theft Auto-style gameplay on the Game Boy Advance, but with a few extra twists that turn up the heat. Cruise through 11 different cities, because who doesn't love a good variety of destruction, while you unleash a barrage of weapons from shotguns to grenades. Oh, and did I mention the remote-controlled cars loaded with explosives? Yep, you're going to feel like a mad genius, sending tiny vehicles to do your bidding in the most chaotic way possible. But wait, Payback isn't just about solo mayhem. It brought a multiplayer deathmatch mode, so you could team up or go head-to-head with 3 other players, all trying to be the last one standing in a wrecked city. The action is fast, furious, and full of explosions. From dodging enemy gunfire to strategically placing bombs and blasting away in style, you'll be in for an adrenaline-packed ride. Theft Auto Advance. This is where the hustle and bustle of Liberty City isn't just on a bigger screen, it's shrunk down to the Game Boy Advance, and the chaos still knows no bounds. The game takes you back to a time before Grand Theft Auto 3 and follows Mike, a small-time crook, out for vengeance after his partner's death. What starts as a personal quest spirals into a full-on organized crime rampage, complete with gang wars, shady dealings, and plenty of mayhem. Sounds familiar, right? That's the GTA magic you know and love, now with a top-down view. Even with the GBA's limitations, GTA Advance holds onto the core of what makes the series so addictive. You get the classic open-world, crime-filled chaos, driving through Liberty City while taking on missions from shady figures. The gameplay keeps its roots in Grand Theft Auto's top-down origins, so if you're a fan of the older games in the series, you're in for a treat. You can steal cars, take on side missions, and rack up the chaos just like in the 3D entries, minus the shiny graphics and dialogue you'd expect. Instead, the cutscenes are simple text and hand-drawn pictures, charmingly retro, if you ask me. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance takes the franchise to a whole new level, mixing brutal combat with a rich story that pits sorcerers against each other in a battle for control of Outworld and Earthrealm. It's got everything you love about MK, combat, fatalities, and intense fights, but with something different. This time, the villains are winning. The game introduces a darker chapter in the saga, with an alliance between the infamous sorcerers Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, who plan to resurrect an army from the past to conquer both realms. As the game kicks off, you'll find yourself jumping into the action with new mechanics that drastically change the way combat feels. The plot's a wild ride. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi team up, wiping out some major heroes in the process, including the mighty Liu Kang. For the first time in MK history, the villains emerge victorious, and the heroes, well, they lose. The story doesn't just stop there, it sets up the epic saga that continues in Mortal Kombat Deception, making this chapter a turning point in the entire series. So, ready to play your part in the Deadly Alliance? Well, let's just say the good guys don't have a chance in this round. Serious Sam Advance. Welcome to Serious Sam Advance, where the action is as wild as Sam Serious Stone himself, blasting through ancient Egypt and Rome with enough weapons and enemies your head spin. This spin-off in the Serious Sam series doesn't hold back, giving you a first-person shooter experience on the Game Boy Advance that's as intense as it is fun. You'll be controlling Sam as he takes on waves of enemies in enclosed rooms, each more chaotic than the last. The game uses ray casting technology to deliver a surprisingly solid FPS experience for a handheld console, though the graphics and controls have their ups and downs. The plot is a bit of a wild ride, though it's non-canon in the Serious Sam universe. Sam finds himself time-traveling through ancient Egypt, then gets sent to ancient Rome by the forces of his nemesis, Mental. He's tasked with stopping Mental's attempts to alter history by releasing his horde on ancient civilizations. It's a classic Serious Sam setup. Fight hordes of enemies, face massive bosses, and save the day. The whole thing wraps up with Sam heading to Maui for a well-deserved vacation. Because why not, right? Gameplay-wise, you take on enemies with everything from a chainsaw to a variety of ranged weapons like pistols and rocket launch. The game's strength lies in its varied enemies, 20 types in total, each more dangerous than the last. Enter a room, and you'll trigger more enemies to swarm you, forcing you to think on your feet. Ammo's not always in abundance, but you can find crates scattered around to stock up. Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. Get ready for round 2 of the Mortal Kombat madness with Tournament Edition on the Game Boy Advance. This spin-off builds on the story of Deadly Alliance by adding 3 new characters to the roster: Sector, Noob Saibot, and Sarina. Think of it as the second half of the GBA port, where characters not included in the first game make their debut. While the Deadly Alliance GBA version gave us half the iconic roster, Tournament Edition completes the picture with a fresh batch of fighters like Cyrax, Reptile, Raiden. However, some fan favorites like Blaze, Mocap and Moloch didn't make the cut. While the Tournament Edition plot essentially mirrors that of Deadly Alliance, it ups the ante by bringing in additional fighters, so the battle for supremacy is more chaotic than ever. But don't expect a groundbreaking narrative. This is still all about getting in the arena and unleashing hell on your opponents. The game takes what made Deadly Alliance fun, fluid 3D character movement in a 2D environment, and enhances it for this portable edition. Each fighter gets 2 fighting styles, allowing you to switch on the fly and keep things unpredictable. There you have it. Top 10 M-rated GBA games that prove handheld gaming doesn't have to be all about colourful characters and cutesy adventures. From epic fights to twisted plots, these titles really know how to bring the heat. So next time you're looking for a break from the light-hearted stuff, fire up one of these classics and enjoy the darker side of portable gaming.